Alright guys, subscribe back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to what might well prove to be the final chapter in the Velly Resignation saga. He comes up with a long explanation video last night on his perspective of the drama of the last few days, aligning rather a lot with what Crimsix had to say, and saying that it was Velly who got assaulted, and certainly not the other way around. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. Really helps on the channel. Thanks very much indeed for doing that one. Before we talk about this Velly stuff, because it's pretty spicy, I must say, and there's loads of different angles we can take on this. I'm intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below, because it's a complicated issue. We don't have all the sides of the story, but yeah, we'll dive into it here. First of all, I wanted to mention some Rostermania things from the Florida Mutineers at Standy. Check DMs. Standy, of course, was one of the guys involved. I think Crimsix said that there were 4 players who were in attendance, kind of watching this Velly saga unfold, and it was Crimsix, Standy, Scump, and Paulx, I believe, were the 4. So interesting, first of all, that Crim and Scump were there, because, you know, I'm sure that maybe reminiscing over old times. I'm sure, like, look, obviously aren't going to make a change next season or anything, but there was a possibility that Crim and Scump actually even teamed up this year on Optic Textures that we saw if Illy and Shotzi kind of had enough of Crimsix's antics to be fair on Dallas Empire in previous seasons. But yeah, Mutineers say Standy check DMs, because Crim was saying last night we saw that because of Attach's playstyle or whatever, Standy's going to get left out to dry a little bit and is not going to get a spot in the league next year, or maybe he was talking about Priestahh or another player on that Minnesota Rokkr team. I think Standy will get a spot somewhere. Good SMG player, pretty difficult to find, at least good on his day this season. Probably the biggest fall off in fairness from Cold War to this year's title. But I mean, yeah, Mutineers maybe looking for another SMG. Can you believe it? Florida Mutineers actually trying to sign an SMG player. Maybe they're just, you know, doing this for impressions. More than likely, they're probably not just going to leak their roster moves here on Twitter, but it's something to look at regardless. And even, you know, Minnesota Rokkr say, you know, calm down, son. Don't try to sign him already. He's not even officially a free agent yet, if he's going to be a free agent at all, because Rokkr might want to hold on to him. I believe he is going to be a free agent though, but technically not a free agent yet. He's a free agent, like maybe right after Champs or something. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Maybe he's already a free agent, I guess, because they're not going to Champs, so his contract might just be over already. So not really sure how that works. But Clay says, where's Mighty Games, right? He wants to maybe get on Minnesota or another team, or really any CDL team that will give him a chance. But yeah, we believe Rokkr was probably one of the teams that gave Clayster an opportunity earlier this season, but they couldn't come to an arrangement with the New York Subliners or whatever the case was over there. Wanted to mention this as well, because a couple of people were mentioning this, that CleanX kind of tweeted out a pretty funny video. We'll actually look at the video later on today, but it was noticed in the video that Pred and Classic were on the other side. Now, of course, they're scrimming here, Toronto up against Seattle. We can see Pred, we can see Classic. Now, you know, why would Classic be in their scrims? Now, probably what this is, that instead of them actually subbing in Classic from their substitute bench, what they've done instead here is just use Classic's CDL accounts, because some of these CDL accounts can get a bit dodgy, as Crone says. Their CDL accounts are probably broken. Havok's been playing on Nubsies all year, so sometimes the players have to play as, like, different names in the scrims. Like, I mean, yeah, apparently Havok's been playing on Nubsy's account. That'd be pretty demoralizing if you're getting gunned by Nubsy again and again, but I guess, you know, it's Havok behind the scenes anyway. So, I mean, yeah, why would Classic be subbing in here? It doesn't really make much sense, but it's something to look at in fairness, just in case Seattle have decided to make some sort of drastic move ahead of Champs, but I feel like that's rather unlikely. And I think Mac was also seen in the kill for, yes, and Mac is here, so the only one that Classic could really be replacing would be Sib, which doesn't make any sense anyway. So, like, it just seems that someone's probably playing on Classic's accounts, and even, like, you know, Seattle Coach 2 is in the lobby as well, so more than likely there's nothing going on here. So let's talk about this Velly situation then. As he says last night, it's not easy to resign from a huge job in the industry, but I'm happy that I stood up for myself. I'm pretty damn nice at what I do, not gonna let a small situation slow me down. Real dropping tomorrow, highlight reel type stuff. Gonna try and get a job elsewhere. And of course, after that Deserto article came out that he believes is completely, well, degrading to him and his character, like, he said, well, he needs to defend himself, right? So that other potential talent organizers and games within the industry actually still want to hire Velly, right? And not have to deal with their situation and the implications that were had from that article. And there was a lot of talk about from Velly as well as exactly who might have given Deserto the scoop on this and what side of the story that it was necessarily portraying. So this was the kind of after the fact tweet they did. The original article said that Velly had been forced to resign by the CDL. Velly has now come out and actually shown the DMs though, and said that he did resign. He gave the CDL his resignation for personal reasons, because he just wasn't happy with Caster 3 putting his hands on Velly and things getting physical in the workplace. Velly was like, look, I'm not having that. I'm going to get out of here and take my talents elsewhere, which might be a fair explanation, but I feel like there must be a little bit more to it than it is currently being talked about. Now, this is Crimsix's kind of witness statement, of course, we looked at yesterday. Like, there are 3 casters involved. Caster 1, Caster 2, and then Caster 3 came in and was kind of getting in and, grabbing Velly by the arms, being told to calm down. And then Caster 3 was coming in threatening Velly on assault charges or ready to fight Velly over a shoves, there might have been a shove involved, and then, you know, there was type of stuff going on, and then it was to the point where Caster 3 was looking down at Velly. I stepped in and diffused the situation. We saw what Crimsix had to say yesterday, but, I mean, yeah, kind of Velly goes into more detail here on who Caster 3 potentially was, who Caster 1 and 2 were, one of which was Velly, one of which I'm guessing was Blaze. We'll see that in a second here, if that was viable or not. But Velly does seem to align rather a lot with Crimsix's explanation, saying that really it was Caster 3 that assaulted Velly and not the other way around. I mean, Crimsix and Standy and others have kind of come to the defense of Velly over this issue, and the fact that this article went on to say that, I mean, yeah, pro players were there to break up the situation, like a drunken altercation, made it sound like, you know, Velly was, you know, throwing punches left, right, and center. The pros are saying, look, that's not the case, like, Velly has tendered his resignation shortly after, and then, of course, Crimsix went on to say the following. Now, look, I'll share what Velly had to say here in this video, because he goes on to explain a few things. About 3 minutes or so here from the 25-ish minute video, which I think probably get the point across best.
So, Crimsix's story starts out like this. Caster 1 and Caster 2 are talking. Obviously, I'm Caster 2, right? I'm talking with Caster 1, and to this day, Caster 1 and I, we can go out to get something good to eat, you know what I'm saying, hang out. We could have a good time, we could hug, we could talk about life. We've known each other for a very long time, and we're not hostile towards each other. But the thing is, we've known each other for in excess of, what, 12 years. I've probably known this person half his life, and we're cool. Nothing happened. We never touched each other. We never said anything hateful. We're just talking, and we're talking like cousins would or brothers would. It was fun. But there was a person that came outside and they put their hands on me. And when that happened, that was just something that I really, really didn't like. I told this person, hey, friends talking, we're chilling, relax, like, you know, you're good, stop. This person kept putting their hands on me. This person's obviously bigger than me too. So I'm not drunkenly turning around and fighting people. That's not what I do. I have my chest out. I got my taco meat showing. This guy then escalated it. There's threats that we'll talk about another time. And he just put his hands on me. I don't like that. I don't condone violence. So at that time I said, you know what, man, this is just where I resign. I don't have time for this. Like, I don't condone this at all. Like, at the workplace, it's just something you just don't do. But I've also said, you know, I can go other places, and I'm just gonna grow there. Crim didn't do that. Actually, when the guy was putting his hands on me, Crim was the person that actually said, hey, you guys like trying to fight, you're trying to kiss. The question is, who is the type of person that would leak that type of story? I am the shortest guy there. I'm 5'10". Why am I fighting 1v2? Who am I ego challenging? Like, I'm not gonna ego challenge like that and have, you know, Crimsix, everyone pull me off. It's ridiculous. Thank you, Crimsix and Standy, for admitting that I was not the one that put my hands on people. Someone else put their hands on me. Matter of fact, I was the one that was assaulted. And that person was never in the conversation anyways. This was an outsider to the whole conversation that did that. But moving forward though, like, forget all that. I'm happy I finally got that out, man. It sucks being quiet and having people lie about you. Another thing, this person, before they came outside, they were already aggressive. They were aggressive before they even came up to me and put their hands on me. As you see, they were messaging our group chat at 3 a.m. saying, we have a situation. We have a situation. Posting a drunk selfie of themselves saying, we have a situation. This person was not okay. This person was a dangerous person at the time, especially with the words that they said to me. And also, we have a situation. And then the last one, I diffuse VR situation. All good. You want to know how they diffused it? Getting rid of Velly, baby. All right, well, that's pretty much it. Listen.
So let's dive into this thing, because I think, honestly, there's a lot of ground to cover here. So firstly, this was kind of direct messages he sent to, we're guessing, Caster 3, the person who he claims has actually assaulted him, and then Velly decided to resign. And as he said, I resigned, it didn't say anything about you. I wanted to move along quietly and not be around a hostile environment. I was asked why I resigned by the league, and I said it was just a personal decision. I don't know why you're telling everyone or anything like that. Like, I'm kind of implying that Caster 3 was the guy that then went to Deserto and said, you know, hey, this is what actually happened. It was a drunken altercation. Like, you know, he was asked to resign, this type of stuff, that actually maybe wasn't true. I didn't want to have any problems with you. How far are you trying to take this? Like, I never hated you, just trying to move on, trying to understand your angle, because the rumor has it that this caster 3, whoever it might have been, we'll discuss that in a second, was threatening to sue Velly over something or other, like threatening, I think, even legal action, Crimsix mentioned, or something like that, which makes me think there's got to be more to this than maybe like Velly is suggesting in his story there, right? And that's really the thing here, is that we're seeing Velly's side of the story, we're not seeing the other perspectives here, and yes, Velly's perspective does seem to align rather well with Crim's and Standy, so, you know, I think I'm very much inclined to believe a lot of what Velly's saying, and I definitely feel like he's been harshly treated here by the article, and, you know, what's come out on that front, and he feels, you know, understandably that he's got to come out and defend himself here, and say, well, look, you know, to future potential employers, like, I'm not this guy that's been painted in these articles. At the same time, the idea that, like, okay, he has this altercation with Caster 3, Caster 3's coming up to him, threatening him to do stuff, putting his hands on him, and then they're going to go outside or whatever, and Velly's saying, you know, well, I've had enough of this, I'm going to resign. Like, okay, there's two options there for Velly. Either Velly resigns, does what he does, or he says, well, actually, look, Caster 3 was the guy who assaulted me, everyone there saw it, like, the pro players seem to agree, why is Caster 3 the guy not getting, you know, fired here effectively, because that was the implication the other way around, and now Velly's the one to resign, and then Caster 3 has no reprimand according to the article, like, no one else, any issues with him, but, like, Velly all of a sudden is the one resigning, so it doesn't, like, fully make sense to me, the fact that Velly wouldn't just say, well, this guy assaulted me, why have I got to be the one to leave, why can't, you know, if you want to deal with this hostile environment, get that guy out of here, right, he was the guy who assaulted you in a drunken altercation. So that angle to me doesn't fully add up. There must be history between, like, you know, Caster 3 and Velly in the past anyway, because of the whole rumor, like, gonna sue you situation or whatever, like, that's a little bit strange. We don't have any comment from you guys on that side of things, so I would just, like, you know, invite everyone to keep their minds very open on this, because we see many issues like this in the past, where people will give their perspective, and then the other guy will give their perspective at some point in the future, and then that gives more light to the situation. Now, whether that's going to turn the story on its head, I don't really think it is, because I think Velly's given some great explanations for his side of the story, but there still might be a few details here we're missing. So, of course, he talks about Caster 1 and 2, and I'm guessing Caster 1 and 2 were Blaze and Velly, because these guys, to my understanding, do rather go way back. I found this image of them back in the day in the Gears of War size, Blaze and Velly, you know, casting together, so I'm guessing, yeah, these are the two that he was saying, like, he's known him for 12 years or whatever, kind of go way back. Now, Caster 3, of course, the rumor was that it was Bryce and Blaze were the three gentlemen involved with Velly, so, like, Bryce would be this other guy. Now, like, Bryce isn't, I mean, Velly was kind of saying he's much bigger than me. Bryce isn't, like, incredibly tall, but he's pretty well built, like, he could probably do some damage, and Velly was saying that, like, he was, you know, whoever this Caster 3 was a dangerous person at the time, and then people have been even looking into this, right? I don't know what the R situation is, don't really want to try and decipher what that could potentially be. I'm sure you guys can have a go in the comment section below. People were looking at this punctuation and saying, okay, which of the casters use punctuation? Could it be Bryce? Like, looking at his tweets, the fact that Bryce hasn't tweeted anything since then is a bit of a mess, right? So, like, it's a massive shame to lose Velly. I think he was a great addition to the casting desk this season. I think he's going to go on to do great things in other esports, whatever he decides to do next. And of course, absolutely, he should come out and defend himself against these accusations, but if he was the one that got assaulted, then, you know, I don't really get his angle of deciding to resign rather than taking the alternate action and getting the other guy kicked if he really liked the COD League that much and, like, all of his, well, colleagues, right? He went on to say that Nameless and Miles, like, they weren't involved. I highly doubt that Chance was involved or anything, but, you know, it's really tough to say. We only have his perspective. I think there's a couple of things here that I'd like some more clarification on. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. Maybe we'll find out in a couple of years' time. A lot of pros, though, have said, like, you know, Velly, we've got to bring this guy back. Pred says, bring back Velly. Afro agrees. Dominate agrees from London side. Skies agrees. So, a lot of support for Velly lately, right? And the question has been, if we can't get Velly back for Champs, which obviously isn't going to happen, he resigns due to a personal decision, who are we going to get, right? I think a lot of people would like to see Puckett back. I think, yeah, I'd be surprised if they're not hitting Puckett's line up here to get the job done on this one. But, you know, Champs is just around the corner. Very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button, tell us your YouTube gods, this is a good video. Others like you should see it as well. And I grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.